Hi there, and welcome to Q the Health Podcast. I'm Ashley Martin, the hostess with so much love for you listening. Q the Health is here to help you take the right action for your health, healing, and well being. Over the next few episodes, we're getting back into the ships that drive our relations. And in this first part of keeping the real in relationships, respect is our focus. Miss Aretha Franklin sang wonderfully in her song Respect. What you want, baby, I got it. What you need. Do you know I got it? All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. If she asked for it, if she sang about it, it's something that is extremely important in our lives, in our relationships. And guess what? It can look different depending on the person and the situation. Now, technically, respect is defined as having feelings of admiration or of high regard for someone or something, right? A major piece, again, a major piece of part of our personal relationships, our professional relationships, and even our relationship with ourselves. Respect is something that we shouldn't overlook. It's something that we can be intentional about. And it is a part of a winning combination in many relationships, including marriage. Love and respect go hand in hand. The good book tells us, nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Interesting. Interesting is mentioned here. That means it's extremely important. What's interesting is that there are differences in how it's perceived and again received between genders, culturally. There are differences. And so, in order for us to win in the respect area, it's important that we have an understanding of what that looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what to do when it's lost, what to do when it's being challenged. So, take a few minutes to get into that. Now, generally speaking, there are differences in how respect is perceived and received between men and women, and again, even culturally. Let's look at the gender aspect first. I remember a time where I had to regulate between some students. At one point in time, I was an elementary school teacher, and I had to regulate between some students because there were some male students of mine who were upset about their shoes. They were upset about their shoes, and I didn't understand what was going on. Well, somebody stepped on somebody's shoe on purpose. And parents, you know how much money you spend on shoes, you know how much money you spend on the different tennis shoes that you buy, and somebody stepped on somebody's shoes on purpose, and he felt disrespected, and he said, Miss Martin, so-and-so disrespected me, and X, Y, and Z, and they got another tiff, and I had to regulate. So, what was interesting, again, I paid attention to the response. I've seen that same or similar sort of a disagreement between male adults about stepping on somebody's shoes or the feeling, disrespected about something concerning shoes or something that was done differently. And I've seen and heard again, whether it be whether it was a female student or another female adult, differences in what may convey disrespect to a woman or female. It's interesting. Even the vocabulary that's used, is different. So we have to be mindful of what respect means to men, what it means to women. We have to be mindful of, to be aware of that. Culturally speaking, differences in how respect is communicated can play out in the tone of speech. It can play out in what is said. It can play out in greetings and or even gestures, right? What we do with our hands, what we do with our body language is an extremely part of our communication. There's even, in some cultures where it's disrespectful to look somebody in the eye. And then in other cultures, it's disrespectful to not look someone in the eye if you're speaking with them. If they tell you to look up, it's considered rude. So it's important for us to understand those differences, again, to win in these areas. Now, getting and gaining respect and keeping it and maintaining requires about the same thing. It's more often than not a matter of giving it yourself and, giving it yourself. It may seem ironic, but it's true. Modeling it for others and showing and leading by example often gives way to you receiving that as well. Now, I understand and I hear those of you that say, well, Esther, I have been in situations where I've been disrespected. I've been there. And I understand the situations where you all have felt disrespected as well. That does not mean you lose your sense of respect. There's a sense of self-respect that one should maintain. And there's a sense of your own human decency that you should maintain, and your own sense of honor that you should maintain, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of some challenges. Right? That's not to say that you approve of the disrespect that you felt or the respect that you actually received, but don't let somebody take your dignity away. You hold on to your respect and your dignity and your esteem. And again, continue to give it. Continue to give it. Continue to give it. You'll receive it. It's something that people, need, something that people appreciate and simply should have. So those are some ways that you can, again, gain it, get it, keep it, and maintain it. Now, when respect is lost, when it's challenged, as I mentioned, whether it was through an argument or whether it was through an action or a difference of opinion, it can be restored. It can be restored. It can be found. If parties are willing to work towards rebuilding respect, rebuilding trust, rebuilding those things. Again, in the event or sometimes when you cannot go there, you don't lose your self-respect. You make sure you maintain yours. That's extremely important. Extremely important. So here's a good challenge or charge for you. Think about where you can do better in the respect department. And then think about what's the very next step you need to take in order to improve it. Is it becoming more aware of the gender differences? Is it becoming more aware of a cultural difference? Is it becoming more aware of how, what self-respect looks like? How can you better respect someone else? So think about it. If you know someone who can benefit from hearing and putting any of this to use, don't hesitate to share it with them. If something has worked for you and you want to share with others, please don't hesitate to share what worked for you. It may work for someone else. Until next time.